Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Really? After all this time we haven't talked and you're not going to even say good morning back. You know what? Fine, be that way. I'm not even bothered by it, I promise. So I was reading an article online because the internet is the best source of all information and totally 100% accurate. And it was an article by Loudwire and it was called 80s rock bands that never quite matched the hype. In this article they showed Tears for Fears. At least in the picture, which was very clickbaity because once you click on the article, guess who's not even in there? Tears for Fears. Now the definition of being overhyped means they burst onto the scene with a lot of promise, but for one reason or another, they fizzled out and never quite matched the hype. Now first up we have Asia, a supergroup formed by members of the progressive rock giants like King Crimson, ELP, and Yes. Their debut album was a chart topper and Heat of the Moment became an anthem for the decade. But their success was short-lived. Internal conflicts, changing lineups, and a shift in musical trends led to their decline. And it is kind of a shame because these guys were incredibly talented.
You're leaving now, it's in your eyes, there's no disguising it.
But at least they gave us one heck of a debut album. So yes, the original band of Jeff Downes, Steve Howe, Carl Palmer, and John Wetton.
In fact, just to kick him a couple extra bucks, here's 5 seconds of Time for Me to Fly.
No, don't! All the money goes to my ex-wife!
Can you play our song?
Okay, lead singer from Asia.
Now, sure as the sun will cross the sky, this lie is over.
And they ended up losing some of those core band members, and then they changed their name to Asia with John Payne, which just doesn't quite roll off the tongue. And although Wetton came back in 2006, all those changes just caused them to fizzle out. But I don't know, what do you think? Were you a fan? Personally, I never liked the song Heat of the Moment, but I do understand that it was very popular.
It was the heat of the moment, telling you what your heart meant. The heat of is when I'm sleeping alone. Turn up the radio, I need the music, give me some more.
Now there was one song that I really did dig in the 80s, and that was from the band Autograph. It's a hair metal band that told us to turn up the radio, and turn it up we did. This song was featured everywhere in 1984, but after that initial success, they struggled to find their footing. Their follow-up singles failed to chart, and the band eventually called it quits.
Gather round, gentlemen, for a minute. The very first time we ever played an Autograph record was on Radar Record, and I saw the name Autograph. I said, oh, it's the Russian group. Did you know when you picked this name there was a Russian group?
No, we had no idea. It wasn't until 6 months later we even heard about it.
Does this complicate your lives at all? Are they amazed sometimes to see that you don't...
No, not at all. I don't think we're going to be playing there anyway.
You're not going to Russia. Can they play... If they were to come here, could they use your name?
No, no way.
All right, enough of that madness.
Now I not dare say it was called a one-hit wonder, because when I throw that word out there, boy do those comments get a little angry. But come on, if you think about Autograph, this is the song you think of. Even if another song may have made the top 10, top 20, top 30, this is their hit. So you know what? Yeah, they're a one-hit wonder. It's a classic 80s rock anthem, and I love this song, but it was really their only real hit.
I'm working hard, you're working too. We do it every day. Sing me a sweet, sweet song. Turn out the lights, my love will burn on and on. Hold me until tomorrow. Dreams never die.
Now let's talk about band number 3, Badlands. Badlands was another supergroup that bites the dust. Badlands featured members of Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne's band, and Kiss. They had the talent, the looks, and the sound, but they just couldn't break through. Their debut album received positive reviews, but their only charting single was Dreams in the Dark. It's a great song, but it wasn't enough to save them from fading into obscurity.
Hi, I'm Greg Chason, and this is Jake. I just had surgery for the torn cartilage in my knee, E. Lee, and we are your guest hosts for today's Hard 60. We got videos on the way from Poison, Queen, Metallica, Tesla, and our video, Dreams in the Dark. Right now, though, a world premiere from The Cult. This is Edie Chow, Baby.
Now when you hear this, you almost instantly recognize what song this is. And maybe it has something to do with bands that are named after locations. We have Asia, and now we have Europe. And you know you've made it when your song is played at every sporting event and graduation ceremony around. Europe's The Final Countdown is an undeniable classic, but after that massive hit, they couldn't quite replicate the success. However, I do remember the song Carrie, and it was played on the radio quite often. So in my opinion, not a one-hit wonder, but not a mini-hit wonder either. Their follow-up albums failed to chart in the US, and they became known for that one major song.
All five of you wrote songs for it?
Yeah, we wrote a lot together, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't happen that much with the former 2 albums.
No, actually, this is our 5th album.
Yeah.
We've done Europe and then Wings of Tomorrow. And then we did The Final Countdown.
Yeah.
It's a song that will forever be associated with the 80s, but it's also a reminder of Europe's fleeting fame.
It's the final countdown. You know, got to concentrate. Don't be distracted. Turn me on tonight.
When you have the frontman of Bad Company and the guitarist of Led Zeppelin in your band, expectations are high. The firm had the star power, but they couldn't quite live up to the hype. Their debut album was well received, but their second album flopped, and they disbanded shortly after. Does anyone even remember the firm? Well, maybe this song will refresh your memory just a little bit.
Now then, tell me, baby, do you need my love? Tell me, baby, are you thinking of me?
It's a solid rock tune, I love it, but it wasn't enough to keep the firm together. So I guess it wasn't that firm after all.
Sitting in the gutter with my head wrapped in my hands.
The Hooters. Not these Hooters. Not Hootie and the Blowfish. These Hooters. The Hooters were a unique band with their catchy melodies and use of instruments like the melodica, and who doesn't love a good melodica jam? They had some success with their debut album, but their popularity waned in each subsequent release. So instead of just a hit and then a drop off, they casually went downhill after their major song. One of their most recognizable songs is this. It's fun, it's quirky, but it wasn't enough to sustain their career. Now this band had one thing going for it that I absolutely love, and it was their album cover. This is just such cool artwork, I love it. Because of their somewhat psychedelic appeal, Kingdom Come was often compared to Led Zeppelin. and their debut single, Get It On, was a hit, but they couldn't escape the comparisons. Their follow-up albums failed to make an impact. Again, we have another catchy tune, but it's a reminder of the band's struggle to find their own identity.
Now that you've come and set me free, now that I know what love can be.
Now we're getting into a little more obscure territory. Some of you may know, most of you probably do not. King's X.
I hear music, music, I hear music, 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 oh, 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 Lord.
They were critically acclaimed, but they never achieved commercial success. Their music was a mix of progressive rock, funk, and soul, but it didn't resonate with a wide audience. If they had one known song at all, it would be this.
To put the thing in its place, I put the black flag on my morning. I put the black flag on my day.
It's a good song, and it's a shame that King's X never got the recognition they probably deserved.
That's holding back the weather, and the same will let it go. It's not reality, it's just a fantasy. Can't you see what this crazy?
Aldo Nova. Aldo Nova's Fantasy was a huge hit in 1982, but subsequent albums failed to chart as high. He eventually found success as a songwriter for other artists, but his solo career never reached the same heights. It's another classic 80s song, but it's also a reminder of Aldo Nova's unfulfilled potential.
Never stay by the phone just to hear from you. Could it be that I just wanna hear you say? As you're leaving, please won't you close the door and don't forget what I told you. Just 'cause you're under don't mean I'm wrong.
Now we have the Outfield. Definitely not a one-hit wonder. There's quite a few songs that were Outfield's hits. Their debut album, Play Deep, was a pop rock masterpiece. Your Love is still a staple on classic rock radio stations. Yeah, 80s music is now classic rock.
Went to number 6 here in America, number 7 on the rock charts. It crossed over. Tell me about how that came about.
Well, the song was originally, it only took 20 minutes to write. I was in John's flat, which you call apartment. I was in his flat and it was in the corridor, and he had a tiny little cupboard where he had a porch studio and an amplifier, and I sat on the amplifier and he said, write this down. Josie's on a vacation far away, and I've still got the original lyric sheet. I've still got that blind paper, with all the biro marks on it and all the words.
But the Outfield and Your Love was a great classic song. Their follow-up albums couldn't match the success of their debut, and they eventually faded into obscurity. I mean, it's a timeless classic. It's also a reminder that the Outfield is a fleeting, famed band.
I can't believe the things that happened to me. I guess that I should have seen a long, long time ago. Tell by the way that you switch and walk, I can see by the way that you maybe talk.
Violent Femmes were a college rock sensation, but their success was mostly limited to their debut album. Their unique blend of folk punk didn't quite translate to the mainstream appeal, and they struggled to maintain their momentum. This song,
Starting to cry, let me go on, like I blister in the sun, let me go on, big hands, I know you're the one.
is unique and just a little bit out there, but it's also about the only one that made any commercial success, and it's a shame because I would have loved to have seen Violent Femmes become much huger than they actually were. Huger? Is that a word? More huge?
Just one kiss, why can't I get just one kiss? Leave me some things that I wouldn't miss. But look at your pants, I need a kiss.
So there we have 11 bands that never quite lived up to the hype. It's a reminder that the music industry is a fickle beast, and even the most talented artists can struggle to find a lasting success. But at least they gave us some great music to remember them by, and I'm not putting them down at all. These were great songs, great bands, but for one reason or another, they never quite knocked it out of the park. Thank you for listening, and I guess I'm supposed to say like and subscribe to give you a call to action, but honestly, if you like my stuff, you will subscribe. If you don't, you'll move on. But I appreciate you. Thanks for everything. Bye, friends.